Welcome back to Geek'd Up Bets. Joe DeLeone and Sean Anderson. Today we've got more MLB best bets. We're also going to be sharing our Week 0 preview. We're going to be previewing the two biggest matchups for Week 0 of college football. And if you're like us, you are beyond excited that there are going to be games. There's going to be pads popping. Games start on Thursday. Did you know that, Sean? We were just discussing this. You and I are former FCS football players. Our Rhody Rams are playing on Friday. We got games kicking off on Thursday. We got a Mercyhurst versus Youngstown State game that I'm going to be locked into. I think Mercyhurst is like 28-point dogs, which is BS.
What?
I love that Mercyhurst is doing this already again, by the way. What do you mean?
They're going up against Youngstown State?
Yeah.
With big Studley Bo Brungard? Yeah, I think not. Mercyhurst is going to be begging for mercy because they're getting the Hurst put on them.
I love that Mercyhurst, by the way, this year they decided they're playing New Mexico State, New Mexico, Western Kentucky. They don't have any other like crazy games at non-conference, but they're doing the same thing again where they're just going around playing as many teams as possible. We're not here for FCS talk. We do that over at Hack City for anyone who wants to go and check that out. I'm debating if we do any FCS picks on this show, but I don't know if I'm educated enough to deliver some FCS picks just yet.
Do we have enough? Do we think that we have some sick puppies in the audience that would entertain FCS action?
Dude, the video that we did for our betting picks for the national championship was one of our more watched videos.
We're doing FCS picks, buddy.
That was when, I don't think we're going to do that weekly. I'm saying that just for Week 0 because there's a lot of football that's happening. Regardless, we're here for MLB bets as well. We're going to get to that in a second. Just want to remind everybody to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on all the great content that we're doing during this NFL and college football season. It seems like the algo found all the right people. The Week 2 preview that we did really well after the Week 1 preview did really well. And if you're like-minded like those folks and you want to have two fun people to hang out with in the mornings before games end up kicking off a couple days before, and you want to know what directions you should maybe put your money down, make sure you subscribe so you're caught up. And also, if you want to help compete with us against the AI geek bot that thinks he's better than us, we're going to get a voicemail from him later on in the week. He didn't call in today, correct?
He did not call in today. He is going to a little bit of sensitivity training, and he will.
HR called in on the Geekbot.
HR said Geekbot's getting a little too froggy, so he is going to.
The Beat the Geek contest over at thesportsgeek.com has tremendous prizes. If you win the grand prize, it's an NFL trip for 2. But you can also win by winning every single week. There's prizes for every single week. All you got to do is pick as many correct games as you possibly can. There's literally no sign-up fee. It is free. It costs you no money. Free fee. There is a free fee to sign up for. I don't know why I did that to myself. For the Beat the Geek contest at thesportsgeek.com. All right, Sean. Talking MLB best bets here for Wednesday. I have to acknowledge this. Mm-hmm. So there was a doubleheader between the Cardinals and the Reds, and my pick that I gave out and the one that I bet on was for the doubleheader. So that bet hit when I opened my app after we did the show yesterday. This was on Monday. I went and checked, and I was like, wait, I thought that bet was wrong. The reason why I thought that the bet was wrong was because I just typed in Cardinals Reds, and it showed the score for the second doubleheader game. So I'm counting that. Are you allowing me to count that as me going 2-0 on Monday?
This is real interesting here. I mean,
I'll show you my app.
Are you? I bet you would. You'd love to show me your app.
Actually, I'm not going to because the amount's going to make you mad.
I just think that it's a real interesting timing that when you see that I'm not on my hot streak anymore, you're trying to find a way to work a win in to get this thing a little bit closer.
I'll send you a screenshot.
I don't need a screenshot.
No, I'm going to send you a screenshot because you're being mean and you're not. I was already not doing.
But what would you say if I said I actually had a phantom win that came through?
I would just ask for proof and then we'd move on. Is it so
I'm
ridiculous?
Not so sure. It's it's a tad ridiculous. It's not the most offensive thing you've done like previously in the NFL tracking or college football tracking where you would just straight up lie about a number. If this was an honest mistake, I'm a fair person.
I was never lying about a number. You're mistaking me doing literally what I'm doing right now where I wasn't paying attention and I misread the information in front of me because I have poor eyesight and I'm very bad at paying attention to things. I just sent you a screenshot. Okay. So that counts. I went 2-0 on Monday. I went 1-1 on Tuesday. So we're building a nice little week here.
You should be kicked out of the contest for picks for this unit size. You should. All
right. We're going to move on from that. My first pick that I'm going with, we had a strikeout bet hit with Kevin Leahy, and that means we're going to go all the way back into the well. We're jumping into the deep end. That means the water is fresh. It's been cleaned. They cleaned the pool after the turd was in the pool. We're going to go Dustin May. Over 5.5 strikeouts against Seattle. The Mariners are 24th in the MLB in terms of strikeouts against for this particular prop. May is 60% in his last 5 and 60% in his last 15. By the way, I'm shocked that neither one of us bet on that Mariners Brewers game and got that one. I'm surprised one of us did not bet on it was the Mariners that got smoked.
Buddy, I did. I got that right. Yes.
Oh, okay.
They put up 22. It was awesome. I can't take them again today. I will not take the Brewers again today because I'm not so sure if they are one of these teams that expended all of their run energy into one game against the Mariners. But if so, I still think Seattle's pretty bad, and that the Brewers pitching staff can get a lot of strikeouts. So six Ks for May. I don't hate it. What I do hate is getting backdoored by the Rockies while betting on the freaking Dodgers in the 9th inning. That hurts. That stings. So Dodgers dead to this better. My first pick for today: Phillies money line -123. I keep the money line bets. I like to go spread, but if there's a money line bet that's reasonable, is it reasonable? If it's reasonable and it's not a super heavy odd, I will include it. Phillies money line versus the Marlins. Phils have won 5 in a row. I like the idea of the Phillies spread, but the Marlins make things close, and they got Alcantara on the mound tonight. I just don't love the thought of winning by 2, even though Philadelphia is hot, and they really are gearing up for this playoff push, and the Marlins aren't. Regardless, we're going money line. We're not messing around with a bigger number.
Can't disagree with that logic. I mean, taking Phillies money line with playoff push on the line, it's critical for them to get this win here, no matter who the upcoming opponent is. You mentioned the Dodgers. I'm going to take Roki Sasaki over 4.5 strikeouts. He is a machine when it comes to hitting on that 4.5 number. 80% in his last 5, 67% in his last 15, and he's 63% on the season. Rockies are 20th against opposing pitchers for these strikeout props. So I am going to go with Sasaki to be key for the Dodgers getting a dub here.
Yeah, I hope they don't. I hope the Rockies don't decide to load up the bases on you and then pull Sasaki when he's had 4 strikeouts in the 5th inning or something like that. Because I've never seen anything. Because there's no conceivable universe. This is the Browns with a pick 6 on prime Peyton Manning, while the game is in the 4th quarter and he's marching down on a drive. Like, that's just something that would never happen. But guess what? It freaking happens in baseball. Godless sport, Joseph. My second pick: Padres giving 1.5 runs to the New York Mets. Michael King on the mound. The Padres are a good team. I know. I actually got some heat. I actually got a lot of heat for picking the Padres as one of the wild card frauds or postseason frauds last week. I kind of am still standing on that business, but right now they are starting to work it, and they are getting into the hunt in a big, big way. Michael King, I think, is their best starting pitcher. He's my favorite pitcher on the Padres. I just think he is an animal on the mound. And the Mets are playing for peanuts. They have nothing to play for right now. Padres win by 2. It just should. The Padres lost game 1 in stupid fashion, and then they win by 3, I believe, in game 2. They're not going to lose the series to the Mets, and they're definitely not going to scrape by in the series and have a one-run win game in game 3 of this series. And if they do, then I'm vindicated. Then I know that they're frauds. But right now, I think they win by 2 or more.
All right, those are our MLB picks for Wednesday, August 19th. Subscribe so you don't miss out on future picks that we do on this show for baseball and also college football and the NFL. Just mentioned college football there. Sean, college football week 0 is very close. And to get ahead of the curve, we are going to be dropping our picks for the 2 biggest matchups, which direction we lean for UNC versus TCU and NC State versus UVA. Let's start with UNC versus TCU. This game is played in Dublin. It's turned into like a really fun opener for the college football season when this game is played on a field that oftentimes gets extremely rainy and wet. Just always gets completely coated. The lines always disappear. They're always freaking out over the beer in the stadium.
Yeah.
But we do have a game between 2 interesting teams. TCU has Jaden Craig, who comes over from Harvard, who was supremely productive for the Crimson. And there's a lot of buzz around him potentially having an amazing year and really pushing this Horned Frogs team forward because he's a little bit less turnover prone than Josh Hoover was. But on the UNC side of things, Billy Edwards is going to be the starter, it seems. Bobby Petrino takes over as the offensive coordinator. TCU is a 7.5-point favorite at the current moment. I've seen this line move considerably. I'm curious to see where it ends up settling before kickoff. But I got to be honest with you, if this thing's more than a touchdown, I like UNC to cover. I don't think that they win, but I believe that, one, Bill Belichick is the type of coach that has enough diligence coming off of an embarrassing season where they played very poorly, but rebounded at the end of the year and got onto a little bit of a strong track, that they're going to play a lot more competitively. They're not going to come out here and get completely trounced. But I also think that Bobby Petrino, say what you will about the man's character, the dude is a brilliant play caller. And no matter what the score is at any point, I think that the Tar Heels are capable of mounting some sort of late comeback to get back into the mix to at least lose this game by a little bit under a touchdown. So I really think that the Tar Heels are the direction to go to for week 0.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I was doing some light reading about Bobby Petrino and Arkansas. I believe they had 2 wins last year, but they had a top 25 offense with him. At least in yardage and maybe points scored. Like he is a cracked offensive coordinator. I will give him that. But I am somebody who, if I step on a rake, Joe, and it comes up and thwack, right between the eyes, right in the forehead, big lump building, I say, man, that hurt. Am I going to step on that same rake a year from now? No, I will not step on that same rake. And that rake is TCU UNC, where we had a quarter of UNC looking like a legitimized program before TCU blew the doors off and ruined the party in Chapel Hill. Now, it's in Ireland. That does put a wrench into things, not a rake into things, but a wrench into things. I am in on TCU in this game. That is my lean. I am curious, has the line moved up in TCU's favor bigger, or is it moving down towards UNC?
When we previewed it on Rufino and Joe show, it was 9.5.
Oh yeah.
By the way, sunny conditions on Saturday at the current moment, and it's supposed to rain on Friday the night before. But wait, that is this Saturday. What about the following? We don't know the exact weather.
We should just estimate It's going to be a rainy mess because it's Ireland.
Probably.
Jaden Craig, both of us know that he is a stud quarterback after covering his last season at Harvard. He was all over it, and I know he's playing in the Ivies, and if you're not that tapped into FCS football or even Ivy League football, why would you be? But if you weren't tapped in, you'd think, oh, what is this guy, just some egghead? No, he's a very good quarterback. He is athletic. Yep. His mobility is really strong. His decision-making is solid. Like he had Harvard, which has been a middling Ivy League team in contention in every single game that they played. Also, Billy Edwards Jr., 19 touchdowns to 10 interceptions in his 4 years. He hasn't played a ton. I think it's going to be a slow burn for him this year. Not saying that he's not the right quarterback to be starting for UNC. Like, I don't think that they would just willy-nilly throw a guy in there. Like, they had to make a decision. But I'm leaning Craig over Edwards in this one, and UNC started so slow last year and so sloppy. I'm not going to make that mistake again. TCU.
See, I look at it the opposite. They started so slow and sloppy that I think Belichick has now figured out what it is going to take, one, to win, and then two, he's done another revamp with this roster. I think that this roster is going to be far more competitive. They're bringing back 4 offensive linemen with at least 10 starts from a season ago. And the one thing that they did is, you and I as 2 FCS supporters who cover the FCS on the other show that we do together, they went and brought in a ton of Patriot League guys. They went and brought in a lot of the top guys from the FCS that they could grab that weren't the really big names in the portal. And as much as that doesn't sound like a sound strategy, I think that works. I think that what they did the first year around, they just went and overpaid for guys that the G6 programs wanted, and that completely set them up for failure. But a lot of times, if you look at some of these teams that are successful in the bigger conferences, they're going and getting these FCS dudes to round out their rosters. And I think that they're not going to need to rely on the Patriot League guys and some of these FCS dudes to be key contributing starters. But it feels like that they realized, hey, we need some good football players that can play rotational roles, play in sub packages, can contribute if they have to come off the bench, whatever it is. I think that this team is going to be a bit deeper. Don't know if that truly factors into the TCU game. I also give the benefit of the doubt to Billy Edwards, who has been banged up. He's not bad. He's just been very, very injury prone. And at the very least, I would think that he wouldn't suffer some sort of devastating injury in this first game against TCU. I think that Craig has the ultimate edge. Inconsistency with defense with TCU makes it a little bit hard to define if they're going to be able to. Avalos has improved the TCU defense, but I don't have faith that TCU defensively, knowing some of the big plays that they surrendered a year ago, that they're going to be able to stop Bobby Petrino scheming up some quirky, to produce some huge yards.
They're still expected to be in the mix in the Big 12, though. UNC is not getting watch out for them pushing in the ACC. As far as unless you're thinking that people are, thinking it's a sleeper season for them where they could be a dark horse ACC team. No, I don't think it's sleeper season.
I think TCU is one of the teams that can challenge to win the Big 12 this year. Don't get me wrong, there is a major difference between expectations for these two teams, but I think that UNC is better than people realize.
I will acknowledge that when I see that. I don't like scandal special UNC. I don't like Lombardi not being there. That's just weird to me. Stop being weird. That's what I need in a football program, okay? You could be dishonest, you can cheat, you can work the courts, you can fight for your players to play until they're 30. You can do all that. And I will at least rationalize that with they're trying to win football games, right? They are trying to win football games, get more money for the university, all of that. But if you're just being weird, I don't know what that mission is. I don't know who that's for. And that's what UNC has been in the Bill Belichick era. So until I start seeing them translate or the weirdness start showing that it works, I will not be entertaining them very much.
NC State versus UVA. UVA is favored at 5.5 points. I've been going back and forth a lot on this pick, and I think that the spread is large enough that I see NC State potentially covering this. Dave Doran's a good coach. I know that they lost Hollywood Smothers and Noah Rogers. They lost a couple of key receivers, but the thing with Doran is that he keeps just finding guys. There is some next up-and-coming player that you don't know about that is going to be one of the top players in the transfer portal by the end of the season because they can't keep him. But Doran's really good at developing. But here's the big part with this. You have a UVA team that relied heavily on the portal last year. They've got 30 transfer portal guys coming in this year. I think Tony Elliott has figured out the formula. He's got an experienced team. However, it's the first game. It's your very first game of the season. You have a week 0 game. It's not an abbreviated camp, but it's certainly a more expedited one because you got to get ready for week 0. You have just generally less time in the offseason to a degree. It's hard for me to be immediately cohesively hitting the ground running. UVA is going to be a great team this year, but I think that there could be some bumps and there could be some frustrations. Having that happen against C.J. Bailey, who is one of the most athletically gifted quarterbacks in the country. Talk about a guy who's going to be highly sought after in the portal. He's a young dude. He's being brought up as a sleeper in the 2027 NFL draft. I doubt he declares because he's probably going to get offered the bag by Auburn or something like that to go and play for an SEC or a Big Ten program. The dude can run. The dude is elusive. NC State's not really equipped to go out there and win against Tennessee or Notre Dame, but they're equipped to give a scare to a team like UVA and to keep this thing close. So I am going to go with CJ Bailey and NC State to cover that 5.5 point spread.
Yeah, if you're watching this game and you're wondering who CJ Bailey is or where he is, just look for the lighthouse on the field, and then you'll be able to flag him down. Yeah, he is a massive, very tall individual, but not very built out in his frame.
Don't doubt my boy.
I like CJ Bailey. I like the thought of NC State. They won against UVA by 4 last year. I like the idea of NC State. But you know what time it is, Joe? You know what time it is for UVA? It's Bo freaking Prabula time. That's what time it is. It's time. All right. Everyone wanted Chandler Morris back for his 8th year. Sorry, you can't do that, Chandler. You had enough time here. It's time for Bo to take the reins. I also like UVA. They got a good offensive line. I think both of their tackles are really good. Both their tackles are massive too. One of them's like 6'7", 324 or something like. Just massive individuals protecting Mr. Pribula. You pronounce it Pribula.
You had it right the first time. Why? You said it with such gusto. I don't know the exact pronunciation, but I think if you say it confidently enough. Because every time I say Pribula, there was always some Penn State fan that's like, it's Pribula. And then I would say Pribula, and someone go, it's Pribula. And like, there's a different pronunciation. He's one of those names that it looks simple. It's pronounced 100 different ways. I'm sorry to Bo. I'm sorry to his family. I wish there was better... It's like Tommy Mellott. We took us 4 years to learn how to say Tommy Mellott's name right.
Right. I thought I had it, and then I wanted to cover all my bases there. I think NC State losing Hollywood Smothers, great name, is going to be a big effect for them because in a lot of their wins, he had big, dominant rush yard games. Like he just went off last year, 140, 164, 123. He had 196 yards versus Georgia Tech when Georgia Tech was ranked 8. Like, a lot of NC State's success came when that dude was at the top of his game, and he was just carving teams up. I understand why that would draw so much desire for him to go and be recruited out of NC State, but replacing a player that can take over a game means a lot for me. And I think that UVA is finally, maybe for the first time in my life, dedicated towards looking at the future and building a program that's respectable instead of like little brother to Virginia Tech and then also stepbrother that you pick on by JMU.
That is going to be it for us on today's show for our Week 0 preview. Make sure to hit the like button on this video and subscribe. We'll talk to you later.